Okay. All right. I think we're live. We'll give everybody a moment or two to get into the chat. I realize that today we may have a lower than usual attendance, and that's okay. Small is good. We'll have a cozy chat here. So if you're just coming in, welcome. We're going to be chatting today about travel, and we're going to learn some idioms associated with travel and also some phrasal verbs. We're going to look at 10 phrasal verbs that you can use when describing travel, your travel story, your travel plans, and so on. So whether you're live right now or watching a playback of this later, I hope this little chat will be useful for you. We'll begin in 1 minute when we have a few more students in attendance. If you're here, say hello in the chat. Okay, hello. Good. We've got somebody in the chat. Kimberly, hello to you too. Okay, well, why don't we just move on? So travel, that's our topic today. And it's a little bit of kind of a poor choice to talk about in light of the recent news with the coronavirus. We have our new Omicron variant. So I was told that a lot of people across the world have suddenly had to cancel their travel plans due to this coronavirus variant. So, well, let's just hope for better times, and I hope that everybody is safe. Nevertheless, that was the topic that I had scheduled way in advance to talk about today. So we're talking about travel, even if it's a little bit of a sore spot, a little bit of, well, a sadder topic. But that's okay. We'll do our best, right? Here are some of our warm-up questions. I know we only have a few of you here today, so the pressure's on. I'm just kidding. You don't have to type too much, but if you can, let me know what you're thinking, and I'll share some of my thoughts as well. So the first question is very simple. Where would you like to travel to and why? So quite honestly, my answer would be my home country, Canada. That's not a unique answer for somebody living abroad, that they would want to move or at least travel or take a quick trip back home. But that is my honest answer. So I would like to travel to Canada. Watch that I say travel to, not trip to. I know you probably wouldn't make that mistake, but every now and then I'll hear a student confuse the verb to travel with the noun to trip. So we don't say to trip actually. To travel to is perfect. I took a trip is okay. I tripped to, not okay. It would actually mean that you fell down with your body. You stumbled. You tripped over yourself. You fell down. All right. So where would you like to travel and why? And we have Leonha. Hello, Leonha. I noticed you were in some of the previous lectures today. It's great. Thank you so much for your participation. It really means a lot to us. You're saying the screen is not good. I can hear you well, but it is not good to read. I do apologize. I'm not quite sure what has happened. So if you don't mind, we're just going to stick with this screen at the moment because there's not much that I can do to fix it while we're streaming. However, maybe it's just this slide. Maybe in the next slide it'll resolve. If it doesn't resolve, if it doesn't fix itself, please let me know. It could indicate a deeper problem. Thank you for telling me. Okay, well, the question was, where would you like to travel and why? Does anyone have an answer somewhere that they're just dying to travel to? They're itching to travel. That's a very conversational expression. I'm itching to go there. I really want to go there. Okay, we have, I would like to travel to England to see the Globe Theatre. Oh, we have a theater and dramatic arts fan in here. Lovely answer. I hope that you have the chance to travel there in the future safely. Leona says, your face is blurry too. Oh my, I'm wondering if that is just due to the connection either on my end or yours. I might ask some of the other students in the chat if you could chime in. So if you could just let me know what you're seeing and hearing too, that would be great. So if it looks clear or blurry, if it sounds not proper, let me know. Lianha, nevertheless, says, I want to travel to Germany. Thank you for your answer. I like that you said travel to Germany. Sometimes I hear students confuse the words. So they'll say, I want to travel to Deutsch or I want to travel to German. They take the language instead of the country. Perfect answer. So, okay, we have someone saying that the stream is okay. It might really be case by case. So we'll just keep going for now. But if there's a serious issue, we can always restart. Okay, describe the best trip you ever took. Where did you go? Who did you travel with? And what did you do? In brief, I would have to say that the best trip that I have ever been on was to Thailand. I traveled to Thailand several years ago during December, so during Christmas time, and I loved the food in that country. I almost forgot the word there. The food was incredible. Pad Thai, that's what I was trying to say. The Pad Thai was incredible, and the coffee also was delicious. I had a great time traveling around the country, eating a lot and drinking a lot of coffee. That's my style of travel. Leona says, I have been to Toronto. Hey! As you probably know, yes, I am Canadian, and my hometown is located sort of within the vicinity of Toronto. As you know, Canada is such a giant country, so my hometown is about 8 hours drive from Toronto, which is not too far away, given the great distances between all of the cities. So you traveled on the train in Canada. You must have taken, the Via Rail? The train is beautiful in Canada. It's one of the better ways to travel. Lovely. Did you travel anywhere else by chance? Toronto to Montreal, or maybe Toronto to Ottawa? Sorry to put you on the spot, but if you want to share anything else, feel free. I'd love to read your comments. Toronto, beautiful city. I hope to travel there soon. Okay, and our next one. Where did you spend your last vacation? It's kind of hard to think about our last vacation with the pandemic, how it has been nearly impossible for most people to travel. So my last vacation must have been 2.5 years ago, approximately, and it was Fukuoka. Yes, Fukuoka, Japan. So it was a great time. I enjoyed a lot of, I believe they were onsen, the hot springs. Lots of hot springs, lots of delicious food, lots of delicious coffee. You can detect the theme here. And Lianha, Ottawa. Yes. So you must have traveled between Toronto and Ottawa. That's not a bad journey. It's about, if I can recall correctly, around 3 hours, perhaps, maybe a bit more. I could be wrong. It could be longer, actually. But yeah, both of those cities are phenomenal. I studied in Ottawa. That's where I went to school. My sister studied there as well, where we both went to university. It's a great, I shouldn't call it a little town because it's technically the capital, just like Seoul, but it is not a big city whatsoever. It's a medium-sized city with a small town feel. Really unique place. Before the pandemic, I took a trip to Hong Kong. Hey, Hong Kong. So I'll actually talk about Hong Kong next in the next question. Describe the worst trip you ever took. And mine has to be Hong Kong. And it's not the fault of the people there or the country, but I just didn't plan it very well. I was much younger back then when I had traveled there. I didn't plan it well. And I booked some accommodations that turned out to be not as described. So on the website, they looked nice, but in person, they were not so nice. I recall having to climb maybe 20 flights of stairs. I'm not kidding you. In an apartment building, because I booked through Airbnb. I wanted to try to experience something local. So I booked this accommodation. It was a guest house, and I had to climb up 20 flights of stairs to the top of this apartment building. And it wasn't really well lit in the stairwell. It was kind of scary, kind of creepy. Anyway, it turned out to be okay in the end, but I recall that I didn't plan it well. But it's a beautiful place, and the food also was quite good there. I wonder how your trip to Hong Kong went. Oh no, you're not satisfying either. I wonder if it was for similar reasons or who knows really. Sure. Danny, hi, nice to hear from you. I took a trip to Germany before the pandemic. Wow, Germany. I really want to travel there. Just for the history, Germany's contribution to the arts, classical music. Oh, I would just love to explore the museums in Germany. Beautiful. And Leona said, visiting the University of Toronto is great. You visited the U of T. Yeah, the campus is gorgeous. It's one of our most long-standing and well-established institutions. The beautiful campus, right downtown. Lots of great restaurants in the surrounding area. Great. Okay. Thank you guys, by the way. Thank you so much for chatting. It helps this go by a little bit smoother, and it makes it more interesting for the viewers who watch it later. And so please, just like Danny and Leona and Kim, if you're out there and you want to share or practice your English, jump in, feel free. Okay, now we're on to the following question. When you are traveling, do you try to speak the local language? So do you try to study some phrase books in advance of traveling? So it really depends, right? I know that English is considered the lingua franca in many places. So just by knowing English, you can get by in a lot of circumstances in various countries around the world, but maybe another country. So in my experience, before I took a trip to Italy, I tried to learn beginner, basic, touristy Italian so that I could order a coffee by myself properly, or maybe ask for where is the restroom and those type of basic things. So I remember taking a crash course in Italian, and it lasted about a month. I studied with a tutor once a week. I read a lot of travel books, and honestly, in the end, when I traveled in Italy, I didn't use any of the phrases that I had learned. I was just too shy or too confused in the moment. Italian didn't come out of my mouth, only English did. And fortunately, the Italians that I interacted with were great speakers of English. They all were shy and they said, "Oh, I don't speak English well," but they spoke beautifully. So I was pleasantly surprised and relieved. So in your case, do you try to learn the local language, whether it be, the common one, English for a lot of countries or others? Do you try to study a little bit, or do you just go there and do what you can, make the most of it? Use body language or use the translator on your phone. What's your method? Autumn, hi Autumn. Good to see you in here. Yeah, when I traveled to Japan, I could already speak Japanese language fluently. Oh, there you go. That's perfect. And being able to speak the language gives you a lot of advantages. You're less likely to be taken advantage of. Maybe not so much in a country like Japan, but sometimes when you go abroad, you don't know what could happen. Someone could try to scam you or trick you into something. But if you speak the local language, what's really going on. And it's funny too, because you can hear what other people say about you. Sometimes they might make a comment in their local language thinking you have no clue. You're just some clueless tourist, but actually you understand. Those moments are entertaining. Good, good. And Min, hi Min, good to hear from you. Yeah, I'm still learning Finnish. Wow, Finnish. I would love to learn that language. My understanding is that it sounds a little bit like Russian. There's some Russian influences and other northern kind of Nordic languages in there too. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Great. Danny says, I'm a bit too lazy to learn the local language. And that's fine. That's very understandable. I think most people just show up and they are able to communicate enough with their body language. Yes, Leonha, exactly. Body language is quicker. Very good. Okay, next one. Now I'm just curious because I've never done it, but I know it's a big thing here in Korea. Have you ever taken a package tour? If so, briefly tell us about the experience. So, package tour. Yes or no? Just as I said, really, I have no clue about package tours. I can't even really speak about it because I've never been on one and none of my friends have ever participated in one either. But I know it's kind of a more popular thing out here in Korea. So let's see. Yes, I have, Leonha. Okay, sure. Package tour. I'm assuming it just takes a lot of the guesswork out of traveling, meaning you don't have to worry about planning too much. You only pay that fixed price up front. So you don't have to worry about unexpected expenses popping up during your travel. So I can see the advantages of doing it. I guess my major qualm, or the thing that really holds me back from fully researching a package tour for myself, is that I hate being rushed. I'm a very laid back person. I love taking my time. My friends tease me for walking so slowly and always just trying to, I don't know, do things at a slower pace. I eat slowly. Yeah, I'm just a slow person. I'm a slowpoke. So I'm just scared of being rushed in the package tour, having to move from point A to point B to point C. But everyone's different. I guess you could see a lot in a short period of time with that package tour. So depends on what your goal is. Right, yeah, positive and negative sides, like everything. Okay, we'll move on. Thanks for your answers, everyone. And what type of accommodations do you usually stay in when you travel? So earlier I mentioned Airbnb. I am a big advocate of that website, not a PPL, but I just like the variety that it offers. I like being able to glimpse into various buildings and, different types of architecture and choose exactly the type of place I'd like to stay. Hotels are fine. I tend to enjoy a hotel when I want to treat myself, so enjoy something more luxurious and comfortable. But I get more character and I think a more unique experience usually through an Airbnb. That's just me personally, though. And let's see what others have to say. Danny, about the package tour. Yes, you've done it once. A lot easier, but it was busy, right? Doing so many things in limited time. Good expression, limited time. Exactly. And people tend to stay, Leon has said, in the hotel. And Band B. Oh, I don't know. What's a Band B? Is it maybe a Korean app? That's my best guess. Band, when I see the word band, my mind just automatically goes to neighbor band. So is it related to neighbor by chance? Let me know. You can just say it's an app or website. Danny, hotel friend's house. Good. Yeah, staying with a friend. That's a really nice and, how can I say, financially smart way to travel. Actually, we're going to talk later about staying with friends, so I'll save my expressions on that. Thanks for your answer. Autumn said, I prefer staying at dormitories because I am very talkative when I hang out with strangers. Yeah. So dormitory, or what's the other word? Hostel. a dormitory or a hostel. Yes, I recall that I've done that a few times in my much earlier years when I was more outgoing and energetic and talkative with strangers, and they're great experiences. It's a lot of fun to meet people from all around the world and just communicate and share your stories with them. Good. Leona says, in Canada, staying at B&B, a bed and breakfast. Yes. So I haven't really encountered a lot of B&Bs here in Korea, but they're a big thing back in Canada and perhaps all around North America. A good B&B is just a fantastic experience. So it's like basically a hotel, but it is a lot more cozy, a lot more just like staying in your own house. And usually the food in B&Bs are phenomenal. Oh, great memories. I stayed in a few B&Bs back in Montreal, kind of on the same street, near to, what's that drama called? Dokkaebi. Kind of near that Dokkaebi red door, in that kind of area. Oh, it was so beautiful. I recommend that if you have the chance. Youngju, hi Youngju. Thanks for jumping in. Great. I prefer to stay in hotels. It's a bit expensive. True, but safe and clean. Okay, I understand you. Yeah, so if you want always the safety, the comfort, go with the hotel, the swimming pool, the gym, like everything is usually just what you would expect it to be and at a higher standard. And also if you're traveling with your family, you've got young kids, probably your best option, right? Leona says, the B&B was cheaper than hotels. Good. And you got a chance to get along with locals. Right. You get more of that interaction with a small group of people who are also staying there with you. And the Airbnb, not Airbnb. I'm used to saying that, but just the B&B. The B&B owners are usually just awesome people who just really want to, again, connect and share stories. Great. Okay, let's move on now to a bit of grammar. Thanks everyone for your interactions. Before the grammar though, expressions. Well, I guess they're tips, but 2 expressions you can use that relate to travel. I'll show you our first one here. Off the beaten track. So I'm just curious if you've ever heard of it. And if you haven't, maybe you've seen it advertised on some kind of website, travel website, or in a travel book. Off the beaten track refers to just not doing something touristy. So something that is repeatedly done. So if you have kind of a path in the forest, like here, it's been repeatedly walked on. It's kind of, we say beaten in, it's broken in. People have walked on it so much, it's really commonly used. To go off the beaten track is to do something that others tend to not do. So it just means to get out there and do something a little bit unique. Not the package tour, exploring on your own. And let's see. Okay, great. I'm glad that at least it was new for one student. So it's just an expression. You would say, I want to get off the beaten track next vacation and just take my backpack and explore. Or, maybe instead of the package tour, let's go off the beaten track and do what we want spontaneously, randomly. And our next one, maybe we've heard this one, hit the road. To hit the road, a little bit simpler to know, just means to begin, to commence, to start a journey. So let's hit the road. Let's go. Let's begin some type of journey. It could be a short journey, like I'm just going to drive down the street, maybe to the cinema, or I'm going to drive somewhere very far, or even take a plane, ride on a boat. So hit the road just means start. Leonha, correct. Yes, it means to start. Maybe you've heard it in an old kind of jazzy blues song, the American song, Hit the Road, Jack, and Don't You Come Back. So I think probably the origin of this expression is from that popular song. I'm just throwing out a guess here, but pretty common. You'll hear native speakers use it a lot. Other things you'll hear native speakers use so much are these phrasal verbs. So what we're going to do for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you 10 phrasal verbs associated with travel. You could always adapt them to other situations, but I'm only explaining the travel context today. These are useful. Maybe you've known a few. If you already know, then just quickly bear with my explanation. We'll have a chance to practice later. Yeah, actually, if you know these ones already, feel free to type some examples in the comments. So if you know one or if you don't know it and you want to try it out, make a sample sentence and type it in the chat and I'll give you some corrections. So you can put them in whatever order you'd like. Just try out some sentences here. To put up, now, you might have heard put up in the sense of to endure a bad person's I shouldn't say a bad person, a person's bad behavior. For example, oh, I had to put up with my kids screaming all day. Put up has a lot of meanings. Put up related to travel is totally different though. Put up is not negative. It means just to give somebody a place to stay. So earlier, I believe Danny talked about staying at a friend's house. Danny could say, when I travel, my friends put me up. Put me up means that they give him or her, right? They give Danny access to their house to stay in. My friend is coming from out of town. Stay with me. I'll put you up. You can just stay with me. You don't have to spend money on a hotel. Or we could say, I put her up for the weekend. I put him up for the weekend. All right. That was one. If you want to try to use it in a sentence in the chat, go ahead. I'm going to check on our messages. Leonha, awesome. Good, good. Tuck and roll. How about tuck and roll? Tuck and roll I'm not familiar with because there are so many expressions. Maybe you can type the meaning of tuck and roll. Or if you used it in a sentence, I could guess the meaning. Tuck and roll. Honestly, when I think of tuck and roll, I think of, no, I won't say it. It wouldn't make sense. Like fire safety, stop, drop, and roll. Oh, no, that's a Canadian thing. Don't pay attention to what I just said. Yeah, if you can give me a sentence with tuck and roll, then I'll know the meaning. See, even as a native speaker, I can't know every expression there is out there. My plane stopped over in Japan. Yeah, good job. In Japan. Excellent. And they put me up for a week, Danny. Yeah, exactly. Perfectly said. Leonha, tuck and roll could be get off quickly, maybe. You know, it could be something that's used in other English-speaking countries. Like sometimes British slang or South African expressions are not common to North Americans. It might be one of those. Not sure, though. Okay, so we have put up. We just talked about that. Give someone a place to stay. Stop over. We already saw in the chat. It is to have a short break en route to one's destination. So we stop over in the airport for a short time and then get back on the plane and travel where you need to go. Usually I do not have any stopovers when I fly Seoul to Toronto, Canada, but occasionally I know that I have in the past I've taken a stopover or I have stopped over simply. I have stopped over in Hong Kong and I have stopped over in, is it Narita? In Japan. I think it's a Tokyo airport. Okay. Drop off. Drop off just means take somebody to a place and leave them there, right? Drop somebody off at the airport before they catch a flight. Pick up, opposite, right? You're going to pick them up. Drive to the airport and collect them. Pick them up. And set out, it's kind of like hit the road, but not as conversational. It's a little bit more formal. You're kind of going up in the formality. Hit the road and then set out is a bit, as I just said, less conversational. And it just means to start your journey. All right, lots going on. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. I stopped over at Dubai. Okay, yeah, perfect. And Leona, thank you. Yes. I think what you said was fine. Good. And we've got 5 more. Get away. Now, this one sounds very harsh if you just scream at somebody, get away, right? Go away. It's not like that. To get away just means to kind of go somewhere for a short period of time, to take a break in your life. We use it also in the noun form. We could say, I took a weekend getaway in New York. So you can change it. It's not only the phrasal verb. It gets modified a lot. But to get away just means, to leave for a brief period of time. I got away, so I changed it here. I got away for the weekend, and I went to a hotel, and now I'm back at work, and I feel refreshed. Look around. That one is pretty basic. We could just understand already to look around, just explore what is near you. Hurry up. This one, we know. It's just the up is not necessary to the sentence, but it adds more emphasis and pressure and emotion. So hurry and hurry up just adds a little more flavor to your speech. See off. Now this is to go to the departure point where somebody is leaving from and say goodbye to them. So for example, every time I fly from Toronto back to Korea, my parents always see me off at the airport. And some of my friends and other relatives see me off at the airport. So they come to the airport, they say goodbye, have a nice trip. They saw me off before my flight. And look forward. Okay, we know this one. Just don't confuse it with expect. To look forward to something is to, wait for something and be excited for something that's coming to you in the near future with excitement and anticipation. So we're not expecting it, we're looking forward to it. Expecting it means you know it's going to happen and you're not that excited really. Looking forward to is I'm excited about something that's coming. All right, let's check in with the chat. Leona, yes. I'm planning to get away from COVID. Oh, me too. COVID. It is an okay sentence. Yeah. If you wanted to make it just slightly more natural, like you could say, I'm planning a getaway from COVID. A getaway is not the verb form. It's the noun form, but it's more emphasis on like activity. I'm planning a getaway from COVID. So I'm going to go somewhere and do something and not think about COVID. That's the meaning. Or your original meaning is fine too. I'm planning to get away from COVID. Like I just want to get away from it. Yes. Helen, hi. Great to see you in here. Leona, yes, correct. It is not easy to see off families and friends. Yeah, perfect. Well done. And last thing I'll mention about COVID before we move on. I hate talking about it. It's such a depressing topic, but I was speaking with a Korean friend the other day, and I want to just share this with you in case you might make the same mistake. In Korea, the pronunciation of Omicron is spoken like Omicron. So just letting you know, if you speak with the native speaker, try to say it like Omicron variant. Not Omicron variant or Omicron variant. It can get changed up. I'm sure you wouldn't make that mistake, but just keep it in mind because there's a difference in pronunciation between those, and it depends on who you're talking to. I look forward to this Christmas. Perfect. Yes, me too. Okay, everyone. So now let's just try to use some of those phrasal verbs. I hope you're able to see the screen well. If you can't, just let me know. But I'll read the text first, and you can let me know what we need to insert for 1, 2, 3, and we're missing the number 4, but that should be a 4. And you might have to conjugate the verb, so you might really have to change the verb a little bit. Okay, so let's begin. The day I left for Canada, my family, so we should change the see off. I know everyone's correct here. We see off but we're talking about the past. I'm retelling this story. They saw me off at the airport. So present tense, see me off. Future, will see me off. Past, they saw me off. Good. Excellent. It was a teary goodbye, but I was looking forward. Yeah, looking. Don't forget the ing because it was the feeling that I was experiencing at that time. I was looking forward to making, that's a hint that you need an ing. Good. In Canada. After I got on the plane, I made myself comfortable and sent a few last-minute goodbye text messages. I thought of how much I wanted this holiday and that I just needed to get away. Thank you. From it all. I needed to get away from it all. Escape my life. A short while later, the pilot announced that all electronics were to be switched off as we were preparing for takeoff. I had to switch off my phone. Yeah, I had to hurry up to switch off my cell phone. Very good, very good. This was too easy, I think. Okay, now we have 6 here. The journey was long because we in Japan for 2 hours. We could say we had a stopover, but we can just make the verb form. We stopped over. Good, good, good. We stopped over in Japan for 2 hours. I arrived in Canada exhausted. Luckily, when our plane landed at Pearson Airport in Toronto, there was already a taxi waiting to... The taxi, is it going to pick me up or drop me off? It's here to pick me up. Good, good. So you're going to notice like pick up me could be said, but not that natural. So here we're splitting the phrasal verb. As you've probably studied in grammar books, there are a variety of ways that you can use the phrasal verb. You can split it or not. Here, splitting up sounds a lot more natural. To pick me up. The taxi then, opposite of it, the taxi then dropped me off at my friend's house. My friend. So she agreed to... This is the one where you stay with somebody. Right. Good. Excellent. Thanks, Min. Yeah, she agreed to put me up. So we know the meaning. Put me up until I found a place to stay more long term. So I'm staying at her house for free for a few days. She's putting me up until I make further arrangements. After taking a short rest, you could say I hit the road maybe, but it doesn't really match the tone of this writing. So I set out to explore the city. I went out, I decided to explore the city. A lot of variations there. I enjoyed looking around downtown Toronto's local markets. I enjoyed my first day in Canada. Good, good. So I hope that was okay. If you have a question, let me know about it. But judging from the chat, I think everyone was following along very well. So I'll give you just maybe 30 seconds before we move on. If anyone has a question about grammar or about what you could say, let me know. Or if you think that this story is totally unrealistic and unbelievable, that's fair too, because in this story, somebody lands in Toronto after traveling from Korea, and then they just start exploring. And I don't think that's actually possible. Most people have jet lag. I didn't write it on the screen, but most people are suffering from jet lag. So you're exhausted from the time difference between the two countries. Lianha asks, have you ever traveled in Korea? So yes, I live in Korea right now. I'm in Seoul. And in terms of traveling in Korea or within the country, within Korea, a little bit. I've traveled a fair bit before the pandemic. So um, I used to live in a very small city in Korea called Gongju, like princess, in Gongju in Chungcheongnam-do near Daejeon. So when I lived there, it was great. It was really central, middle of the country. I was able to travel to a lot of the surrounding cities. I made my way down to Busan several times, but I really like Seoul. Now that I'm in Seoul, I'm very satisfied here. I don't travel much due to COVID, but Seoul is fantastic. Good question. If you have any recommendations for me where I should travel, let me know. If there's some city that you really think, she has to experience that, please let me know. Helen. Yes. So Helen went to Toronto in 2017. Nice. Well, if you have time, you can type out a little more and tell us about your experience. I think I took a trip to Toronto in 2007. No, 2018. That was a year after you. I had traveled back home. Yeah. I miss that city. Okay. Why don't we end with just a little more free talking together and on a topic that's always interesting to discuss, travel problems. So traveling's great, but for me, I think that usually the most interesting stories about travel are not all the good times and the beautiful things and, all the snorkeling with cute animals. I care more about the stuff that went wrong, the disasters, all of your problems. So maybe I'm a bit negative today, but I want to hear about your travel issues, your travel problems. So we'll just go with the first one really quick here. Have you ever been stuck on the runway? The runway refers to the runway where the planes take off from. So that long stretch of road. So have you ever been stuck on the runway, and how long? My case, not too bad, but I've been stuck on the runway in Canada due to weather where the airplane, has too much ice on it or suddenly too much snow falls and it's unsafe to take off. So we're stuck on the runway. We're in the plane just waiting. So I think maybe the maximum for me was about 2 hours. Maybe anyone else in here has a similar story. And Helen, you went to York. Oh my gosh. When I was a very young person, I had a dream of going to York. I just thought that York was like the most beautiful looking campus. I didn't care about what my major would have been or like anything. I didn't know anything about York. I just liked the way that it looked. So I thought that York was the best. Wow. How long were you in York? I hope you enjoyed the program there. They're regarded as a great school. U of T, York, yeah, awesome schools in Toronto. Good. Okay, I'll give you all a moment just to type. You can answer the first question, but if it's not what you want, you can move on and share your stories for further ones. Just take a moment and have a sip of coffee. Helen, yeah. Yeah, really. You're lucky. I think you were in a great school. That makes me really happy. Um, Leona, I got stuck in the plane. Oh no, flying around Toronto Airport. So it must have been that they couldn't descend until that some conditions were met on the ground. Maybe the traffic was backed up. There was too much traffic. The plane couldn't land safely, or sometimes due to weather conditions, it's not safe yet as well. So I've been in that case too, right? We were stuck up in the air, just circling around and around, waiting to land. Oh, those situations are frustrating because you're almost there, right? um, Okay, now I saw your follow-up because of the snowstorm. Very, very Canadian, yes. And Helen, yeah, 2 months. Great, great, great. I hope you have a chance to travel back there in the future. Lovely. Autumn, autumn. I had to wait for an hour in order to get in the airplane. Oh no. You could say board in order to board. That's another word. Yeah, to board the airplane at Osaka because there happened. Oh, right. So because some type of technical problem happened in the plane. I know that. I forget where I was traveling, but I had a similar issue. And I was scared because I was thinking, well, is this plane safe? So it really reduced my confidence in the plane. Knowing that they were working on fixing those technical issues and knowing that I was getting into that exact plane. So, but anyway, of course, right? In fact, flying is very safe statistically, so there was no problem. Was mine in Osaka too? I wonder. But okay, that's a good travel problem story. Thank you for sharing. Well written. Oh gosh, the plane flew to another airport to fill up. Wow, that sounds like a big reroute. Yeah. Oh, that's not in the plan at all. So you had to touch down, take off again, and then finally touch down at your desired destination. Helen says, I was stuck in JFK. Ah, JFK, that's must be New York, right? Airport for 6 hours due to the weather. 6 hours. Wow, you win here. Oh my god, that is horrible. The only thing I got was free drinks for the delay. Free drinks, like they give you that coupon, right? A bunch of these coupons that are worthless outside of the airport. Yeah. What a story. That's a good travel story, though. Excellent. Okay. How do you feel about crowded trains? So maybe we can talk about subways, crowded subways. I experienced a very crowded subway train in Japan, and I didn't think that it was possible to squish so many humans into such a tiny cube, right? This kind of cube. And I think it was in maybe Tokyo at Shinjuku or Shibuya, one of those like really busy stops where there's tons of tourists and tons of business people going through. Oh, it was very uncomfortable, very squished. So I don't feel very good about crowded trains. I think nobody does, right? All right. What other ones? We're running out of time, so we'll just go through them quickly. Share your answers and reactions or responses. Have you ever lost a ticket for travel or anything else? In my case, no. I've been very lucky. That's not to say it won't happen in the future, but up until now, it has not happened. Do you like airplane food? Sometimes it's not bad. Case by case. Generally, it's not the best, most delicious thing, but I've had some decent, so, or kind of little bit better than average on Korean Air and maybe the Air France. I liked Air France because they gave me a really delicious chocolate. I remember that. So yeah, it can be okay. Do you usually watch movies, sleep, or work on a flight? I do not work. I usually watch movies or sleep. How about you? What do you tend to do on a long flight? Have you ever sat beside someone who was bothering you on an airplane or who bothered you on an airplane? I don't have any stories, but maybe someone in here does. Some bothersome seat buddy or the passenger next to you who was not so nice to sit beside. Some people complain when children sit next to them, like on either side or in front or behind, but usually kids don't bother me on a flight. Kids have to travel, so they're usually cute and But I understand if there's a, loud crying baby for many hours, that can be distressing, but I've never experienced that. Okay, and last one, have you ever had something stolen? Stolen, like pickpocketed? Have you ever had something taken or pickpocketed while traveling? Again, not yet. So far, so good. But it could happen, and I always try to protect my belongings while traveling. Not every country is as safe as Korea. I know in Korea, you can walk down the street and people aren't trying to grab your things, or you can leave your purse or your laptop or your expensive smartphone unattended at a cafe on the table while you go somewhere else and come back. But I know that's not the case in other parts of the world. So you always got to keep your stuff safe. I usually talk to strangers on the airplane too, Autumn. Yeah, it's nice to talk to strangers on the airplane too. My trick is that I don't ever start the conversation first. I try to keep to myself, and I like to put my earbuds or my headphones in right away so no one will talk to me. But if someone does talk to me, I take them out and I talk a little bit. Ooh, can't do that too much now. I take them out, I talk, and I usually give about 5 minutes of my time. And then I usually say politely, well, it's time for me to sleep. And then I put my earphones back in. Just because I usually just like to sleep or watch movies on the airplane. And a little bit of chit chat is fine. Some small talk. And then, yeah, so these are great. Just put them in, put them out to signal if you're ready to speak. Okay. Anybody else? Any stories? Answers to these questions? Any other type of terrible travel problem that you've experienced? Or just anything else you want to chat about? We've got a few minutes left. Even just talking about travel kind of is a little relieving in a sense because it's been a long time for most of us. So hopefully we'll be able to travel safely again. And just talking and sharing, reminiscing is comforting. It's the least we can do right now. Autumn said, I'm very outgoing and good at talking to strangers and good at becoming friends. Hey, Autumn, that's awesome. You sound like you're a very sociable person, and that's a great asset. Don't ever lose it. It's a great way to make friends and memories wherever you go. Good. Me, I'm way too shy, so I'm always a little scared when I sit next to somebody. But I've made some nice connections. I've networked a bit. Good. Danny says, I nearly lost my phone at the train station in Nice, France. The lady's hand was in my bag already. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad that the situation turned out okay and that you didn't lose your phone. But wow. I can't imagine. What do you say in a situation like that? Oh, excuse me, ma'am. This is mine. Remove your hand, please. Wow. So I haven't had that, but that did bring to mind one travel story for me. It was, I think, I want to say, I forget the name, but it's Japan. It's an island. Not Narita. It's this island where there are so many deer. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you've been. It's pretty touristy. It's this deer island. And on that island, those deer are very, very used to humans. And they just come up to you and they bite you a little bit, not strongly, but they kind of bite you and they try to enter your purse or enter your bags. So I had that experience with some deer in Japan. They were sticking their heads in my plastic bag. And in that bag, I had bought some snacks and a water bottle. And they were trying to get at my belongings. It was really wild. Okay. Next, Helen says, in a plane, a woman took my seat and asked me to sit in her seat. Oh my gosh. The audacity of that woman. Oh, people like that. Where do they come from? Why are they like that? I've had that happen to me too. And I've said yes. I've just agreed because I'm so shocked. I could never ask another person to do it. And because they asked me, I'm shocked. I'm confused. I'm kind of embarrassed for them and for myself. I'm impressed that they can do something like that. And I just say, okay, sure. Yeah. But sometimes they could have a good reason, like if it's related to their children or trying to sit together as a family. But, oh, what a story. Good, good. Danny said, the people around me noticed that she was trying to pickpocket you and she ran away. Good. I'm glad some other people intervened to help you. What's worse was I did as she said. Helen, yeah, you're just like me. Just, okay. Why not? Aw. You know, it's good to be the bigger person in a situation like that. When you're the bigger person, it doesn't mean your size. It just means that, you acted in a more elevated way, like a socially better way with more manners. So you were the person who took the high road. You were more ethical. You were more polite. You just let this person do as they wanted. Autumn. Oh, thank you, Autumn. Yeah. Nara. It was Nara, Japan. Yeah. Not Narita. Nara. The deer park. Oh, yeah. It was a great place, but those deer were a little too much. Yeah, too much for me. Okay, good. All right. Well, if you have any other stories, just wrap them up. Finish typing. Time is over for now, but I really enjoyed our conversation today. Everyone was so active in the chat, so I really enjoyed speaking with you, hearing your stories. Everyone's English in here is great, so it was really fun for me. And Min got in. Okay, Min said, it's not about the trip, but I live in Finland. Wow, I love Finland. I've traveled there before. Oh, beautiful country. Great people. Very cold. I'm going to probably say stereotypes here, but people like reading. I noticed a lot of bookstores and cafes that just sold a lot of books too. Very good for people who like to read, I noticed. Yeah, Finland's lovely. Oh, sorry. I use the train every morning. Oh, yeah. The trains are nice too, very clean. Every morning to school, but sometimes I feel kind of lonely because most of them are white. So yeah, I noticed that about Finland. So the population is maybe not as diverse as other places. So you could feel a little left out, especially because I got the impression that the people there, if you're in Helsinki or maybe a smaller city, they all grew up together. They all know each other. They all have their own connection. And as an outsider, it's kind of hard to break in, but I'm sure you will. You speak the language. You sound like a good person. So I'm sure, it'll get better and better. Wow, thank you. Hello in Finland. Wow. Okay, well, I guess we're out of time. Thanks everybody so much. And this is the last one for a few months. Good luck on your exams. And in advance, have a lovely holiday season. Happy New Year. And let's hope for all of your dreams to come true in 2022. Goodbye, everyone. Take care. Thanks so much for your time today.